voice in Washington has just come from studying the deal to saying that he is in favor of the Iran deal, and he's joining me now. He's the senior Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff of California. Thanks so much for being with us. You're a key voice. You're the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. We've had you on before, and you'd said that you were sort of waiting and seeing and wanted to see where this ended up. What have you learned that now has you saying, let's do this?
Well, it took several weeks, really months, to study the proposed agreement, then the final agreement, to meet with intelligence officials to get a better sense of what we know about Iran's program in the past, how likely we are to catch them cheating if they cheat in the future, what the alternatives are, what does that look like. And there, Brianna, we're all looking through the glass darkly. It's difficult to foresee exactly what happens if Congress rejects the deal. But I came to the ultimate conclusion that the deal basically creates a roadblock for Iran getting the bomb, certainly for the next 15 or more years. That was a very significant achievement. And when I weigh that against the murky future without the deal makes sense.
You still have concerns, and you've talked about this. You support. You say there are elements that are, quote, deeply concerning. You cite the lack of robust access to the sites of Iran's past military work on nuclear weapons, meaning how far have they come? How close would they be to break out on a nuclear weapon? And then the permissible scope of Iran's enrichment program after only 15 years, because there is this expiration on some of this really serious access to their sites. You say that the administration should work with Congress. Is that realistic, considering the spite that we're seeing?
It is realistic. It probably won't happen, frankly, until there's a vote on the deal. But there are ways that Congress and administration can strengthen that going forward by making sure that Iran knows there'll be severe repercussions if they're caught in any kind of cheating, by making sure that Iran knows that they will never be permitted to have highly enriched uranium, not today, not 15 years from now, not 50 years from now. And if they go that path, we're going to stop them with force. And by working with our allies, with Israel and our Gulf allies, to contain any use of Iran's newfound wealth for its destructive activities in the region. What
repercussions could you realistically expect should Iran cheat on this deal, considering you wouldn't expect to get at the UN level support from Russia or from China?
Well, this is why I think the administration really got a coup in the agreement, and that is the United States, without any opportunity for Russian veto or Chinese veto, can snap back the sanctions on its own, in full or in part. So we got that. It was something Iran bitterly fought. But that means that if we conclude alone Iran is cheating, we have the power to reimpose those sanctions. Now, we still need to get the others on board, but I think, frankly, if we can make the case about Iranian cheating, we have a very good chance of a strong and robust, even enhanced sanctions regime. And I might add this, too. You have to compare it to the alternative. Congress rejects this deal. The sanctions almost certainly erode, if not collapse. There's no way we're going to get Russia and China and India and others on board if we reject this deal.
There are a lot of people who are looking at this deal domestically, and they're not on board with this. Opposition, in fact, has doubled since June, according to an NBC News Wall Street Journal poll. What do you say to those people who are looking at this and saying, this isn't a good idea?
Well, I say, look, the primary objective here is to keep Iran from getting the bomb. This agreement, I think, as a practical matter, makes that near impossible for Iran. If we don't go forward with the deal, we're looking at a very uncertain future where Iran goes back to enriching. It'll spin up a new generation of centrifuges that are much faster, and we won't have eyes on their nuclear program. That's the alternative. Now, there are trade-offs. Iran is going to have a lot more money. And I'm not just concerned about this frozen fund, but rather the fact that our economy will grow and annually there'll be increased revenues. That means they can use those resources for bad stuff in the region. And we have to make it clear that we will meet those actions with an equal and opposite reaction. That's how we can help strengthen this deal.
I want to talk to you, Congressman, about Syria now that we have the president signing off on air support for Syrian rebels if they do come under attack. Do you consider this a new phase in this war?
Well, I think the Turkish change is really the new phase. The administration's commitment that you mentioned, that we will protect these Defense Department trained forces, that's the right decision. As a practical matter, it's the only decision. And I think Bashar Assad would be crazy to try to interfere with that. He doesn't need a new, a very powerful adversary at this stage of the game. So I think it's the right call. But probably the pivotal event in the last couple of weeks is the decision by Turkey to get more fully into the fight, to close down that border with Syria, and to go across that border with its aircraft and strike ISIS targets.
Had committed to striking ISIS from the air, has been doing so in Iraq for some time. But now there is this move to Syria. We did not see that before, and the administration had stopped short of doing that because of risk. You see this effort expanding, and it seems like it's happening without some sort of comprehensive explanation of where it's going. What would you tell the American people about that?
Well, this is a very tough problem to discuss as well as to fix, because you have parties that are fighting with us and fighting against us all at the same time. So you have the Turks that are now more engaged in the fight against ISIS, which is good, but they're now also engaged in a fight with the Kurds, which are our allies, and that's very troublesome. You have Iran, which is causing all kinds of sectarian problems in Iraq.
But in terms of the U.S. plan to deal with this, of what the end game looks like, of what the objective is?
Well, I think the end game has to be ultimately a political transition that phases Bashar Assad out. And the good news on that front is there are now major cracks in the Alawite regime. Support for Assad, I think, is declining. I think even the Russians are beginning to acknowledge Assad will never control all of Syria again. The Iranians haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's inevitable. There's simply no way Assad is going to rule all of Syria again.
You say it would be smart of him to not engage with these U.S. jets that will be over Syria, but what if something happens? What if a U.S. plane is shot down? How does the U.S. respond?
Well, this is the risk, and we run that risk right now because we're doing sorties over Syria as we speak, so our pilots are at risk. And, of course, the nightmare of all nightmares for us is the terrible tragedy that happened to the Jordanian pilot. And there's a profound risk of escalation because you can imagine what our reaction would be if that happened to one of our pilots. So there are lots of dangers here. At the same time, I don't think that Assad is going to make the mistake of interfering with our support for these rebels who are fighting ISIS.